it's Lorna, and today I'm going to show you how to make a bow. And this bow is going to be using wired ribbon. And wired ribbon has two pieces of wire that run the length of the ribbon, and you can see it kind of poking out there. You need to just make sure that on the side of the roll that it says wired. You can do this with non-wired ribbon, but it will be a floppy bow. It won't hold its shape. I would say that the wire in this ribbon is not the greatest. This was on sale pretty cheap. I think I paid maybe 50 cents for this ribbon. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's just this is some floppier ribbon. But if you see when I make a loop, it holds its shape. And that's what you want so you can make a nice big fluffy bow. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using about 4 feet. But if you want, you can make the loops larger or smaller, depending on how much length of ribbon you have. So if you only have a little bit of ribbon, you definitely can do without the length. You may only get 2 or 3 loops. That's okay. And I'm also using some hemp cord, but any string, even curly ribbon or something like that would work. Curly ribbon is banned in our household because my cats like to eat it and it's not good for them. So we use things like twine and string and things like that to tie our bows. And if you're giving your gift to somebody who does have cats, that's something to keep in mind, is that maybe you want to use some ribbon that is not plastic, because animals can eat it and it can really hurt them. So what I'm going to do, I also have scissors, is I'm going to take my ribbon, and again, this is 4 feet. It's not gonna fit entirely in the camera's frame, but I want to decide how big my loops are. So if I want a loop that is about, I'd say that's about 3 inches long, so 6 inches there. What I want to do is I want to double that in length, so I would want to do 12. But because I only have 4 feet, that means that I would have about 4 loops. And so, well, you'd have 8 loops. But what I want to do is I want to go, I think I want my loops to be a couple inches. So I think I'm going to do about, I'd say 6 to 8 inches here. And I'm not going to crease the ends. I just wanted to show you how it looks flat from end to end. Remember that this little end is not going to create a loop, so keep that in mind. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll over. So I'm just going to keep going over until I get to the end of my string, my ribbon. And you want the ends to be pretty nice and even. So take your time with this. Again, I'm not pushing down or creasing. So this will give me about 4 loops on each side, which I think is fine. Or what you can do is you can make this smaller. So if you want more loops, so if you want a fluffier bow, what you can do is you can make your loops smaller, so about 2 inches. So I will show you that. So I would go about 4 inches there, and then each loop would be about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, depending on how wide I make it. Okay, so if I continue doing that over, I'm gonna get a smaller but more loops. I should be able to get 2 more loops out of this. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, well, why would you make your own bow when you can just buy them at the store? And that's because people at the stores typically charge about $5 to $10 for a bow that you can make yourself for less than $1. and that's including the price of the ribbon and things like that. So, and the ones from the store tend to be handled by a lot of people. They tend to be crunched up and a little bit damaged when you get them, and you have to fluff them up anyways, which means you're doing part of the work anyways. So I just like to make my own. Plus you can choose whatever colors you want. You can make all your bows match all your gifts. I like a big fluffy bow. So now what I want to do is I want to take my pieces and I want to fold it in half. But I'm, again, not pinching my loose ends here. You can, you don't need to, and it could make a crease. There, so I'm just folding the center. And now that I have my center marked, what I want to do is I want to take my scissors and I'm going to cut a little notch out of there. This part is optional. You could just tie it just how it is, but I find that cutting a little tiny notch in the sides makes it so that your loops, when you're pulling them, don't slip and slide through your string. So I'm just going to cut a little notch on the side. And you can cut a notch that looks like, get a piece of paper. If you want, you can cut out a little piece, a little triangle on both sides, or you can just do a line on both sides. If I was using a 2-inch ribbon, I would definitely do this part because it makes it so that your string sits in here. But because my ribbon is so thin, it's only a 1-inch ribbon, I'm just gonna do one line so that I don't accidentally cut all the way through it. Go slow with this because, again, there is wire in here. I don't recommend using your good sewing shears for this. Just use a regular pair of scissors, and you're just going to gently cut a little line right at the center. Make sure you go all the way through all the wire. Because this has wire in it, when you are cutting, you're gonna need a little bit more force. So I tend to not use the tip of my scissor. I tend to use the really sharp backs because we don't use this part when we're cutting very often. So I use the back of my scissors. And it's gonna take a little bit of force at first, so you don't want to just clamp down because then you'll cut your whole ribbon in half. Just kind of inch it a little bit until you cut through, because you just don't want to cut all the way through your ribbon. So I'm going to flip that around. I'm going to hold my ribbon, and my finger is going to be a little bit of a stop, and that can be a little bit scary, and you absolutely don't need to put your finger in the way, but I like to do that. So I'm just going to see, this one's a little bit harder, so I'm just rocking my scissors just ever so slightly cutting. I definitely don't want to cut through the middle of my ribbon. I just want to make a little notch for my string to sit in. So you have it notched on both sides. And again, you could cut out a triangle if you wanted, but on the 1-inch ribbon, I don't find that necessary. So you're going to put your string in between here. Scissors out of the way. In your little notch here. And that's gonna make it so that both sides are even. Your string's not gonna slip and slide while you're tying. And I have my loose end on the bottom, so this is where I'm gonna tie the knot. I'm just gonna do a simple square knot. So this is hemp cord, so I can pull really, really hard, which is great. If I was using curly ribbon, or if I was using like a plastic kind of string, what might happen is when I pull super duper tight like this, I might actually break my string, and that's not great. So I remember when I was a kid, my mom would have me put my finger there so that the knot would stay nice and tight. But I just used my thumb to hold that knot nice and tight when I'm by myself and tie my second part of my square knot. And I'll show you the square knot again. So all you do is you have your string wrapped around, you're gonna make a cross. So, and then you're gonna take the string that is underneath, let me zoom in. So across, and then you're gonna take the string that's underneath, so this guy here, and you're gonna go around, down through the loop. And that is a square knot. And you do that twice, usually, so that the first knot stays in place. So whatever one is under, so I did the opposite way this time so that you could see. Whatever one is underneath, go around, down and through. And if you wanted to make this a really secure knot, if you're using a slippery kind of thread or something, what you can do is you can go down around one more time, and that's what's called a sailor's knot. So it kind of makes this little braid looking thing, and that's because you went 1, 2, and that makes it so that it grips onto itself a little bit better. I also use a sailor's knot for things like stretchy cord for bracelets. So now you have the decision to make, is you can cut this off, or you can leave it long and use it to tie the bows to your packages, use this to tie it to, use as decoration for like a bench or a chair or something like that. You can make this long enough to tie around. That's personal choice. I like to leave mine on. I don't like to tape bows to things. I like to tie them onto the package so that when I put them in the trunk of my car, they're not moving around. So, and you can use these bows for any holiday, any season, anything for gift giving. I think they're a really nice touch to add to any package, and you can get them in any color, any ribbon color. I like to use the sales and get my ribbons a lot cheaper. So now what you want to do is you want to turn your bow into a bow by fluffing it up. So what you're going to do is there's loops. You're going to go into the center and you're going to pull out the center loop. And because it has wire in it, you can actually pull it out and give it a twist. And that's going to separate it. So you want to go right, left, or left, right. Either way, you want to alternate. So I'm going to go into the center and I'm pull out the next loop, and I'm going to go the opposite direction. Give it a pull and a twist. And because this is notched here, this is why it's important, because if it wasn't notched, what could happen is you could actually pull the loop and it would come from this side out. And I'm just going to alternate. Looks like I have one more in there. And then pull this one through the other side. And don't worry what this part looks like yet, because we have to do the other side. And if you're making this side look really nice and perfect, so say I sit there and I take the time and fluff it up and make it look really pretty, then I do this side and I'm pulling and pushing it anyways. So I like to just wait on that. So I'm going to pull. So again, this is the inside and this is our other end. I pull that end out. And then I'm going to do one more just so that this can kind of cover. And you can cut this end short and this end short if you would like, or you can incorporate them into the style of your bow. Make sure I have the center one here. Going the opposite direction, pull tight, pull tight. All right. So if you want, you can kind of fluff it and make it look like it's another loop, or you can just have it, you can turn this one and have it look like the little ends of the bow. You could also wrap another piece of ribbon around the center if you wanted it to be a bow that is styled in half like that, like a traditional like little bow for your hair. You could definitely wrap a piece around the center. But what I like to do is, this is the styling portion, and I like to just take my center piece, pull it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to fluff my ends around it. And I like to kind of push them up and in a little bit so that they stand nice and tall. And you can trim this off if you want. I like to give it at least clean it up a little bit, so I will make it at a diagonal. And I'll do this one at a diagonal too. And it just makes it a little bit prettier. do it the opposite way. So now it looks intentional and not like a little scrap of ribbon. Toss your ends. And now this is ready to go on top of any kind of package. I can wrap my Post-it notepad in it. Nice piece of ribbon around. Tie it on my package if I would like, or I can just tie it to the ribbon that's on there. And you have a bow. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial and that you give it a try, and that your packages for birthdays or holidays or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holidays you celebrate, and any gifts that you give are just a little bit fancier.